Hi, I'm Ernie Shimizi, and welcome to the Fair Media Council's Folio Awards here on WVVH-TV. We're joined by Jackie Clement. Jackie, Executive Director, Fair Media Council. This event gets bigger and bigger every year and more important every year.
Well, we do try, and, it's a busy time in the news business. We're seeing a lot of dramatic changes happening, a lot of cutbacks on the local level, but good news is we're doing pretty well on Long Island. We have the television stations who have recommitted themselves to Long Island. They've actually expanded news and their news coverage, which is wonderful, but it's a fight, and what's happening at Newsday now, it's a real concern of what will happen to the future of the news here on the local level.
Fair Media Council, our viewership has expanded. We're now seen in the tri-state area, Westchester. For the benefit of our new viewers, Fair Media Council, Can we talk a little bit about the mission, 20-year plus mission?
Sure. We actually started out as a group of people who were concerned about the coverage on Long Island. That was back in 1979. We've now expanded. We're concerned about local news anywhere in the tri-state area. This event in particular, we look at Long Island, but we're looking to expand that as well. We're concerned about the quality of the local news, that the people who live and work in this area are getting the kind of news they need to make informed decisions about their life and their business, remain competitive. We want them to be informed about where their tax dollars are going and, the quality of the school systems they're sending their children to and things like that. So we are interested in the media being out in the streets covering serious stories, because the media is basically the front lines to help us understand the problems, and so we can start working on a solution.
So if you read a newspaper, listen to radio, watch television, you can become a member of the Fair Media Council. And what is that line you always say?
What is that line?
Get savvy?
Yes. We do basically two things. We look for people to get media savvy, and we look for them to get media connected, which is one of the things today is all about. We bring out the media, like Ernie and WVVH-TV, and we want to give the community the opportunity to meet the people in the media, to establish a dialogue, to put names to the faces that they may see bylines in the paper or hear voices on radio, or actually get to meet someone from television who they normally see in 2 dimensions, and now they get to see you in all 3 dimensions, and that sort of thing.
You have a busy day planned for all of us. Helen Thomas, our keynote speaker.
Yes. Helen is a pioneer. She's a trailblazer in so many ways. We are thrilled to have been able to bring her to Long Island for an exclusive appearance. She has covered the White House for 57 years, so who better during an election year to come out to talk about how the media is doing its job this year in covering the election.
And Les Payne's tribute.
Yes. Les Payne, a pioneer in his own right, also will be here to pay tribute to a special friend of ours, Bob Greene, a Newsday legend, a pioneer in investigative reporting who passed away 2 weeks ago, unfortunately. His was a special brand of journalism that we're not seeing enough of these days, and Les has worked with Bob since 1974 when they won the Pulitzer Prize for that story called The Heroin Trail. It was a 32-part series that tracked heroin from the poppy fields of Turkey to the streets of New York. That kind of journalism is rare, and it's diminishing. We want to see more of it. Les Payne will be here to tell you not only about the accomplishments of Bob, but also give you some insight on the man himself. And he was quite a character, so it's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be a great day, and thank you, Jackie, for your leadership of the Fair Media Council. Our viewers should stay tuned. This is going to be exciting television, which you don't see anywhere else.
That's right, exclusively to WVVH, and we are very grateful to have you with us today.
And so are we. Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks.
We're so honored to be joined by Helen Thomas, who's the Dean of the White House Press Corps and Correspondence. And Helen, this is such a thrill to be able to speak to you for a number of years, from Kennedy on to the present president, who incidentally sang happy birthday to you, I see. That must have been an experience. But even though he sang happy birthday to you, you didn't not say tough questions. But thank you for being part of this event.
I'm very happy to be here. Very honored.
You're our keynote speaker today, and this is a room of people in the media, from news to radio to television. Things have changed since you first came into this business. Have we gone soft?
Yes. At the White House, I think the reporters are really go too easy. They've missed the beat. Really, they do not ask the tough questions that should be asked on behalf of the American people.
Now, you've occupied for a number of years the first row, first seat, and with that, the responsibility.
Not the first seat anymore. When I worked for United Press International, more than 50 years, and I covered the White House from Kennedy on, then I was very privileged because wire service reporters got the first two questions at news conferences. Now I'm just a columnist.
Well, now they really don't promote anyone asking a first question. Are the questions regulated in a way?
The wire services get the first two questions and the networks, which is fair enough. You know, they're there all the time.
But it seems there's been a shortage of news conferences. It seemed in the past there were more presidential news conferences than there are today.
It all depends on the president, whether he's willing to go for it or not. Some of them don't want the hot seat.
John Kennedy loved press conferences, didn't he?
Lots of give and take. He was able to show his wit, and he was in command.
Was he one of your favorites?
My favorite.
Your favorite. And from there, Richard Nixon was not an easy news conference, obviously, but he was out there and he did take the heat.
He did, was stand-up mic. He didn't put his elbows on a podium. He knew the answers and so forth. And I thought he did okay on the domestic side. It was on in foreign policy. And, of course, his evil side, I shouldn't say evil, dark side, caught up with him.
But being in front of the press, that's the place where the presidents know what's happening in the country and are forced to focus on the reality outside of the Oval Office.
If they don't, we're in trouble.
Well, that's true. We're so thrilled that you're here. The Folio Awards, the Fair Media Council, is an organization that was established along the guidelines of what you're all about, integrity and broadcasting. And we're so looking forward to your keynote address.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored.
We're represented by WCBS-TV and Kate Sullivan and Maurice DuBois, and you're our co-host for today's event. Welcome to the Folio Awards.
Thank you. This is my first Folio. Maurice's third or fourth.
A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Very serious event, so you have to be careful.
It's a lot of pressure coming out to Long Island, right?
No, it's Old Home Week. We're back with old friends. I grew up on Long Island, right? Went to Port Jeff High School. Always good to be back here. And, we're celebrating the best of Long Island journalism, and that's what it's all about. And we get to hear Helen Thomas today, and Bob Greene, and Les Payne. So we're among some legends, and we're going to have a good time.
Kate, how is it doing the morning news and being part of this great team?
This guy?
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's great. I've been doing it now for 2 years, and I'm just finally getting adjusted to the schedule and love it every morning.
But you're tough. You went to Notre Dame, right?
That's right. Exactly. That prepared me.
Should I address him as Dr. DuBois? I see these.
Or Daddy DuBois is the right one.
No, doctorates from Seton Hall and Medgar Evers. Congratulations,
right.
Maurice.
It's fun. It's an honor. I don't feel I deserve it, but I'll take it.
Well, looking at both of your resumes, I mean, you shot up to the anchor desk and have distinguished yourself in some small markets. You really worked your way up to where you are today, and the same for you, Maurice. How many Emmy Awards? Is it 4 or so?
I think it's 4, yes. Yes, I believe so.
Somebody's counting?
Yes, I didn't know anyone was counting.
Part of what the Folio Awards is all about is for young people and for people interested in the media on how to begin, what the media stands for. And I think both of you are representative of that. Developing a career in the media, you worked hard to get to where both of you are. Could you talk a little bit about that, Kate?
Yeah, you got to want it. You got to really enjoy it. You got to want it. You got to be a curious person. You got to enjoy people and telling their stories, and you got to be willing to put in the time and the effort and the persistence. And it's not easy being on the street reporter and spending the time out there, and you're in difficult situations. But every other day you enjoy, and some days you don't. But you just kind of keep going. Yeah.
And Maurice, education's important for you.
No question. But I think Kate really hit the nail on the head when she said you got to enjoy it. No matter what you do, if it's journalism, if it's raking leaves, if it's playing baseball, if it's making cookies. You got to get up every day and really feel like you love the work, because there are going to be some hard days, some easy days, but overall you have to enjoy the work at its core. And that's what it's all about. Hopefully that translates, because we feel like we're having a good time, and hopefully the viewers do too.
Well, we enjoy both of you, your work, and continued success, and thank you for being part. We're going to be enjoying watching your presentation today and giving out those awards to all of the recipients who are a part of this Folio Award. So continued success.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Wonderful to meet you.
We're joined by one of our distinguished participants here of the Fair Media Council and Folio Awards, Jerry Kremer. Jerry, you've been part of this for 16 years.
This is my 16th year. It gets better all the time. It's exciting because it makes the media come to Long Island, if you know what I mean, beside your media, and it also lets them know what the Fair Media Council does. You know, we're the eyes and ears for Long Island when it comes to monitoring what goes on in the world, and it's exciting to still be a part of it. This year, having Helen Thomas, who created the mold for good reporting.
So no one else does that. Here in the New York market, we give out awards. We have different, but to say what the Fair Media Council is all about has yet to be accomplished by any other organization.
Yeah, I would have hoped that they could do a better job in telling the world, but Long Island needs the Fair Media Council. We're the ones who turn to the outside world and say, you know, let's have a level playing field. Let's be fair in the manner in which you talk about what we do. You can talk about the bad, you can talk about the good, but tell the world that it's a lovely place to live, a great tourist destination, and a great center of commerce.
Jerry, what concerns you these days about the media?
Well, I'm concerned about the media being a little bit too sheepish and a little bit too shy when it comes to challenging the real issues of the day. It's just hard to imagine that the media continues to, they're looking for the most sensational story of the day. The media's sense of what's important, I think, has gotten distorted.
Jerry, thank you for all that you do. We're joined by the News 4 team at 6. This is the A team. Congratulations.
Thank you. Very kind of you to say that. We won't mention that to Chuck and Sue, all right? We'll just keep that between us.
Well, Chuck and Sue are in a whole special category. But you worked with Chuck for a number of years, and now this handsome gentleman is your
yeah, she stepped down. She took a step down, but
no.
She's kind enough to not, make me feel better.
Honestly, I've always been a big fan of David, and I'm not saying that because he's standing 3 inches away from me. But no, it's wonderful, and it's really, I think it's just it's a great energy. We're always sort of joking on camera, off camera, and it's
absolutely.
fun.
And unfortunately, there's not too much to joke about these days in the news. But you bring a sense, and you know what? In looking at both of your backgrounds, what a career in your young age both of you have had. It's really to be marveled what your commitment to the news business and to reach the anchor position. In your case, Lynda, from your experience, you worked at other broadcasting here in New York, and now you're at NBC. Talk about that a little bit, about being someone coming into this business and working your way up into it.
Well, I don't know what else I did. I've been doing this for so long. I mean, literally since I was 12. I did. In fact, I was up in Yonkers at the youth rally for the Pope when the Pope was here. And it's held at St. Joseph Seminary, which is also home to instructional television, which is where Catholic school children, high school students, do a yearly newscast, and you compete for awards. Well, I did that when I was in high school at Cathedral High School. So it's sort of, coming back memories from so many years ago, but it's been a long time.
Well, they ran a promo of you. You were young. You were doing some report when you were like a teenager or something.
I was
right?
5.
And David, you worked in Connecticut.
I did.
And what amazed me is when you guys go for a story, we have a big Haitian population here in New York. And you went to Haiti and you went to Cuba. But that must have been something, your work in Haiti and bringing that story to the viewers here in New York.
Well, and I think Lynda would agree. That's one of the big thrills of working in a local station in New York City. Really, the world is local. Everything is local. And so it has provided that opportunity for us to help bring the stories around the world for an audience here, a significant audience here, and so it's just been quite a tremendous experience.
You both bring so much to the anchor table, your own personal experiences, and I think we're so much richer here in New York having this great news team, and continued success to both of you. This is the shining stars of NBC News, WNBC. So continued success to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's always good to be here with the Folios every year and connect with our friends here on Long Island. I mean, it's been a number of years for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
So we're certainly happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the organizations that makes the Fair Media Council the important organization it is headed by this gentleman, Mr. Edward Giuliano, president of New York Institute of Technology. Sir, your New York Institute of Technology has been the place where many people in the profession have come forward, and we're so proud of your participation here.
Well, we're proud of it, too. That's why we're one of the sponsors, and we have, as you say, some of our own graduates presenting the awards now. Every network has a success story that we've been part of, and right now, as we grow as an international university, a global university, we're hoping to train the anchors in China and the Middle East, as well as Manhattan and Long Island as well.
New York Institute of Technology has expanded tremendously, and the standards of what it's about, you must be very proud of what you have to offer.
We are. We're certainly a quality not-for-profit institution of higher learning in America and globally. We have 15,000 students, and we have programs from communications and marketing to health professions, engineering, and of course architecture. And what's happened in the 21st century, one, they've become interconnected. So when we build a solar house on the Washington Mall, we have communication arts students filming it and doing the media productions. Now we're doing television production we're the first American university to have a campus in China, undergraduate, and we're teaching the first crew of Chinese students television production. So we're trying to network that in and bringing back news to America. I leave here to go to our Manhattan campus where we have an annual undergraduate symposium on student research and creativity. We have about 50 projects being displayed and vetted, including 4 from students who came from Amman, Jordan, to share it. So it's been a good example of leveraging who we are as New York and technology, which at the very fundamentals is communications, whether it be in digital media. From our roots go to the creation of the Pixars of the world, into our fine arts program and MFA, but it all comes together now in one place. I'm just talking to people here today about news, and they're all talking about their blogs, their websites, interconnecting, integrated marketing, and we seem to be at the right place at the right time.
You said it. It all comes together. New York Institute of Technology, you bring the standard of education, and we benefit here in the New York market having your university, and continued success.
Thank you. It's our hometown.
We're joined by Veronica Contreras, who's sports anchor for Telemundo 47, and congratulations, you are the winner of an Emmy Award, I hear.
Thank you. No, it's a pleasure. We did a story in spring training with Jose Reyes, the shortstop for the Mets. So my photographer myself got that special award.
Yes, fabulous. Sports anchor in one of the most fabulous TV stations here in New York. And you bring so much to it, your knowledge of sports, especially not only baseball, but soccer, all of the other sports that are truly international. How is it working for Channel 47?
It's great. It's a great challenge. I think being a woman in this business, nowadays we see more ladies, in this business doing sports, but it's great. Sports is something I really love since I was a little kid. So it was like watching a game. I love sports, so watching a baseball game, basketball, soccer game, and that's part of my job. It's like I couldn't ask for any better. But it's great. We're trying to cover. We do a lot of, like you said, soccer, basketball, of course, local baseball, and other teams. But we also do boxing. Anything has to be related to sports. It's great. Can't complain.
Can't complain. We're here at the Folio Awards, which is the Fair Media Council, and part of what we do here at the Folio Awards Fair Media Council is promote education. And you're an example of someone who has now a career in sports, and you're breaking new ground, and it must be exciting. What advice do you give young people who want to pursue the same career path that you followed?
I think anything in life, if you have to set up goals, whatever you do in life, and there's always steps to get to that goal. So set up a goal, and there's, just be positive and do everything that you have to do it the right way to get wherever you want to go. There's no, we say in Spanish, si se puede, like you can do it, just have in mind what is it that you want to do. Whatever you do in life, do it, be sure that's what you want to do. Don't look back, just look forward. You could always do it.
Well, thank you. You're an award-winning, shining example of that. Veronica, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Jackie, how thrilling this must be for you to sit next to Helen Thomas and see that she's part of this event.
It really is. It's sort of a dream come true. Helen is one of the few people, and I have access to media everywhere, but she is really one of the few people that I've always wanted to meet, and to be able to bring her out to Long Island so that she can talk to this community and share her point of view on what's happening in the media is truly a privilege. So we are very grateful.
Well, you wrote, in speaking of Helen joining us, that at this particular time in our history, it's quite appropriate that Ms. Thomas is here with us.
Yes, because it's been such a busy news year in terms of covering the election, and who better to talk about election coverage than the woman who did it for 57 years.
Ms. Thomas, we're singing your praises.
I like hearing that.
You'd be very proud of the work that Jackie Clement does here. She's really in the same mold of what you've established in your career, and trying to train young people and people interested in the media, what the media is all about, the best that it has to offer.
It's a real journalist. I think they're becoming more and more rare.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Journalism has changed a lot, so it's rare to find a really good reporter, isn't it? And someone willing to ask the questions.
There are good reporters, but they're really constrained a lot now by their corporate heads and by a whole different view of what journalism should be.
We're so excited by this event today, and thank you both for making this possible.
No, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Joined by Mike Gilliam. Now, Mike, you, not only are you on My 9 at 10, but you are also a Folio recipient, so you know what it's like to receive a Folio award.
Yes, I do. It's a great honor to receive one of these awards. I think that this event is something that showcases some of the good work that goes on in the community, and I think it's very important. A lot of times, journalists in our area tend to kind of lose sight of the fact that there's more to cover in New York than what goes on in Manhattan and the 5 boroughs, and they need to get farther out and do some of the other things. There are very many important things that take place right here in this community that really lend to the fabric of the entire New York area. So I think it's very important that we're here, and I think it's very important to recognize some of the good work that's done by journalists on Long Island.
As a reporter, did you know when you were in school that this is the direction that you wanted to go in, to be part of journalism and broadcasting and now anchoring the news?
Yes, it is. At that time...
You've always had the voice,
No, not always. There was one period of time where I was a soprano. And it changed like overnight, thank God. But to be totally honest, I always wanted to get involved in the business. I wasn't sure exactly what I would do. There were times where I was very much enamored with sports work and that sort of thing, and I did a lot of that prior to really settling into the news end of it. But news is the place for me because I like things that are breaking constantly, and I like to do things that affect people's lives, things that are going to help people. So I think that this is the place for me and always has been.
Mike, you bring so much to the New York market and to news. You're a premier reporter in this business. And for young people starting out, what's your advice for those who want to follow in your footsteps and have a career in broadcasting?
I think to just get out there and do the work wherever you can do the work. A lot of times we get caught up with what station I'm at and whether it's a number 1 station or a number 2 station and what market you're in. I think it's just important to work as much as you can. If you're going to be on air, get on air and work as much as you can. Get concentrated work, and the other things will happen for you.
Well, thank you for being part of this event. Folio recipient, and today you'll be one of our MCs, and Thank you very much. Continued success, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
CW11 is represented here at the Folio Awards with Sukanya, Krishnan, and John Muller. Now, both of you have a Long Island connection. I know you started as an intern at TV 55.
Yeah, it was a long journey, yeah. Long Island is very near and dear to my heart. I started out I got my big start in television right here at TV 55, and then I also went to the New York Institute of Technology for a while and got my reel together, and that's how it all began. So, but you're talking to the real Long Island boy right here.
East Williston?
Williston Park. Yeah, I was born and raised, family of 7, went to 12 years of Catholic school, St. Mary's, Manhasset, St. Aidan's in Williston Park. And then after leaving and going to NYU, I actually got to come back here as a Long Island bureau reporter for WNBC a few years back. And that was really cool because, like, you're going to Jones Beach, and you remember going to Jones Beach as an 8-year-old and running on the boardwalk. And here I am as a grown man covering news stories. And it was really neat to work as a professional in the hometown, truly the hometown, the Long Island, not even New York City. So, Long Island is... I am Long Island, so to speak.
Isn't that
was that corny?
No.
I think it was.
And
really
now you
good.
guys have this hot morning news show on.
Thank you for
Congratulations saying that. And the award winning and everything else you're doing, and we're thrilled to see that you're part of this event. But local news, covering local news, is not easy, is it?
No, it's not easy at all. But we're two people that were born and raised here, right here in New York City. So this is sort of who we are. When we go on air and do what we do. I mean, John and I already have antidotes of family, friends, locations, places. When you are New York, it's not something that you fake. And Pix is celebrating 60 years on the air, and to be part of that tradition and to be allowed to enter people's homes, as cheesy as that sounds too, I'm going to say. And to work with a great guy like this, you can't fake it. Come on, either you are New York or you're not,
Absolutely. Well, you both are New York. John, when you were at NYU, did you envision what TV news would be from that perspective to where you are today?
What's changed so much, I guess, is that we didn't have 24-hour cable stations. You had to leave and you had to go to an affiliate, and there was 3, NBC, CBS, ABC, and that was it. Fox didn't do news. So it's just there's so many more job opportunities now. I think that's the biggest change from when I was going to school and had to go away to Savannah, Georgia, and then work my way back. These days, if I was going to NYU when I was a kid, I'd be shooting for News 12 or, not that that's a starter market by any means, but there's a lot of little outlets that maybe you can penetrate a market without having to leave for a long, long time. I think that's the biggest change.
But just the new medium, right, Johnny? We were talking about that, the internet and everything else that's out there. News doesn't have to be the way mom and pop used to make us watch the 6 o'clock evening news. I mean, people are watching it wherever, whenever, on their laptops, on their cell phones. It's everywhere.
Well, I have to mention this. Our camera person today for WVVH is John Bonsi, and he said that both of you have the most fun morning news program.
We do. We love it.
Well, I take the lead from him.
He says they're hilarious. So, and I never hear.
Lewis. I'm the straight guy. She's Lewis.
Yeah, it is kind of like
Works
that,
out.
isn't it? All right, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, it is like that.
Well, continued success.
Hey,
Thank you for
Thank you
being
very much.
part of this Folio Awards. We reward, we congratulate, we encourage the best in local news, and both of you are representative of that, and continued success in your careers.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
You are a recipient of an Emmy Award for Best Morning Program, and how great that you're here for our Folio Awards.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yes, Good Day New York, 5 to 9 a.m. weekdays on Fox 5. And I did work this morning, and it's a pleasure, though, to come out here and meet and greet all my colleagues. Often in television, you don't get to meet the other people who are on the competing channels, even though you're not really rivals personally. It's just your employers who are rivals. We're often good friends with one another, but if you're working at the same time, if you're on the air at the same time, you almost never actually see them face to face. So it's always a treat, and it's always a pleasure to come out here and meet the folks on Long Island. I live in the city, so I don't get out here nearly enough. I did go to the Hamptons Film Festival this year, however.
We
and
caught up there, yes.
That was a treat, and I got to get out here more often, definitely.
Well, Jodi, local reporting, that's what we honor. That's what we're part of here, the Folio Awards. That's important to you, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And I think, every day we see the importance of local television news with the Sean Bell verdict recently, the reaction to that, the way the Internet has been woven so well into the operation of TV stations. Not to take anything away from print, but I think every day you see how vital local news is, not just for weather and traffic, but in covering the issues that are important to all of us who live in the New York area day in and day out.
Well, thank you for being part of this event, and congratulations again. You won the Emmy for Best Morning News Program, and continued success.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Legend in the industry. May I call you that?
Well, I don't know about that.
Dennis Swanson, ladies and gentlemen. Dennis, you head up Fox Television's operations in the news department?
Stations, yes.
In station department, but you've had a history. I know that you've been, for a number of years, you ran WNBC here in New York, and were involved with a number of other stations. And if there's anyone ably qualified to talk about local news and local television, it's this gentleman. Congratulations.
Thank you. Life's been good to me. I've had a lot of fun over the years. Local television's great. At Fox, it's really been our strategy is to expand our news. Some people are cutting back, but we'd like to think that the wisest course is to expand our news and information base, and we've done that here at Fox 5 in New York, and we've done it across the country. We, right now in our division, do over 1,000 hours of news a week on our local television stations.
And Dennis, you're responsible for the other markets also, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. We own 35 television stations. 8 are about to be sold, some of the smaller stations, but we'll still own 27, and that's enough to keep me busy.
Has it become harder covering local news and the commitment to local news?
No, I don't think so. If anything, I think it's easier because, when I was a young man starting out in this business, the equipment was not nearly as sophisticated as it is now. And so technology now allows us to do so many things that we couldn't do very effectively, 20, 30 years ago. So if you make the commitment and want to invest in the right capital projects, you can be pretty good at covering local news. It's still about the people, though. You got to have the right people, and hopefully we do.
Well, Dennis, thank you for your commitment to local news. This is the management that makes the local news possible, and if not for guys like yourself who have a heart, who come out of this industry, we wouldn't have the great news reporting that we have here in the New York market.
Well, it's fun, and I applaud these folks here in Long Island, the council here, because they've committed themselves to making sure that the public here is served well, and that's why we're all here today.
The Folio Awards were joined by this very special gentleman, anchor for Telemundo 47, and the winner of Emmy Awards this year at our recent Emmy Awards, Jorge Ramos. What a pleasure to meet you. And you've been very busy, haven't you?
We have been very busy, and we were very honored to receive the Emmy for the best single newscast, 30 minutes. That was for the 11 p.m. newscast. In that category, we had 4 categories. Telemundo was competing on 4 different entries. So we were, very happy to receive that Emmy, and part of it is the team effort of the group of Telemundo 47, and of course, the fact that our viewers always respect our job, and they receive us, with a lot of enthusiasm in their households.
And what a great team you have, and award-winning team. But you've been anchoring for a number of years, haven't you?
Yes, it's going to be 28 years with Telemundo 47. When I started at Telemundo 47, there were only 5 people in the news department. So I was the young guy that was coming, and was full of energy and enthusiasm. I still have energy and enthusiasm, and I was doing a little bit of everything. And along the years, I have had 6 different co-anchors. And I just wanted to tell you an anecdote, because when we were going to start this interview, he asked me, is there any preferred angle? And I said, yes, you stand here, I stand here. This is, and then it has happened that some of the co-anchors, the ladies, they wanted the same chair that I was having. I said, no, this is my chair.
Well,
it's TV, it's different if it's radio. If it's radio, you can sit anywhere.
Jorge, we're so thrilled that you're here. This is an important organization because it rewards, it honors those who bring quality
Yes.
to news, and you've represented that in your career. Now you're part of NBC.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing, the resources, but still it's the personalities, and you are the great personality.
Well, thank you so much.
Telemundo.
Thank you so much. And we are very happy with being part of NBC. As you know, they have all the resources that help us put a great show, for our community. So it's a team effort between NBC and Telemundo.
Continued success.
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Thank you, Jorge.
Always
a pleasure catching
always a
up
pleasure
with
to see
Jorge
you.
Ramos.
At least once a year we see each other, right?
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're so honored to be joined by this gentleman, Les Payne of Newsday, and a history, Les, Pulitzer Prize. But you're here on a very special day to speak about a very close friend of yours who recently passed away, Bob Greene.
Bob Greene, who died 15 days ago. He was not only one of my mentors, but a mentor to all of the influential editors at Newsday. I mean, he taught generations of editors and reporters how to report, how to investigate, and really he set the standards for Newsday. He defined Newsday in its modern era.
But Bob and you guys who were part of that team, who followed in his tradition of investigative journalism, you guys had guts beyond compare. I mean, to go to Turkey and follow the heroin trade because there was a drug problem here on Long Island, and for you to go to South Africa and to face, I mean, you faced your life to be there. You put your life at risk. Where does that come from?
Well, on the one hand, I think journalism is about taking risks. And I think you weigh the costs, and you decide, is a story, is an investigation? Now, the fact on the heroin trail story you mentioned, there were people dying here. When we went over there, there were 48 Long Islanders who died of drug-related, heroin-related causes. In New York City, there were 1,100 in a given year. And so when you look at that and say, is it worth me risking my neck, arms, limbs to find out, to tell Long Island readers, here's how it happened, here are the people who are doing it, here how much money they make, and leave it up to the authorities to say, why don't you arrest these people? So it's the risk-taking, and I must say about Bob Greene, he really accelerated in us the sense of courage that it takes to take those kinds of risks, which I ended up doing again in South Africa. But you weigh it, and the story is really worth it.
Well, we're so honored that you're here, part of our Fair Media Council Folio Awards. You represent investigative journalism and that tradition, and to have you speak on behalf of your dear friend and talk about his career and yours, which parallels it, the standards continue, and I just hope that your type of journalism is supported by management as we go forward, because there have been a lot of changes here in the landscape of who the owners are.
That'd be a good way to remember Bob. He was a treasure for Long Island. He was a treasure to journalism. He was an icon of investigative reporting, and I think he can best be remembered by continuing the tradition, which costs resources, and it requires a commitment, and I hope that commitment and those resources are made available.